Dear students, first of all, respected Dr. B.B. Nayak sir, a very good morning to you. And sir, we welcome you to today's webinar, Agri Business Incubation in Fisheries. And we are extremely thankful to you for accepting our invitation. We are blessed and grateful to have you with us today. Dear students, today we have with us Dr. B.B. Nayak, a very famous personality and a very widely sought speaker. Dr. Naik is principal scientist and head fisheries resources harvest and post-harvest division, the Central Institute of Fisheries Education, which is a deemed university, and you know every fisheries graduate has a dream to study once in his lifetime in such a reputed institute. When I was a graduate, I also had a dream. Anyways, so he is serving that prestigious institute. Besides heading the division of fishery resource harvest and post-harvest division, he is in charge Agri Business Incubation Center for this ICR Institute. So, dear students, the biggest thing is that like you are graduating as fisheries graduates, Dr. Naik is a BFSc graduate from College of Fisheries, I think Odisha, if I'm not wrong, and he did his masters from the Mangalore Fisheries College. So such persons are a direct inspiration for you because our students had been asking us questions that what to do, sir, after doing BFSC, what is the scope and all. See scope. So he is a live example of scope. When Dr. B.B. Naik, as a fisheries graduate, after doing BFSC, can reach such a higher position, why not you? So sir will also, after his brief talk, sir can also just tell you that how vast fisheries is and there is no dearth of opportunities in fisheries. So only what is needed is your hard work. I also welcome my colleague, Dr. Jitendra Shukla, who is the man behind initiating this webinar. And thank you, Dr. Shukla. And without him, the webinar is not possible because he is technically very sound in handling all these things. I am not so technically sound. So thank you, Dr. Shukla. So without standing between you and Dr. Naik sir, I welcome Dr. Naik sir to please start his presentation. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be associated with this, and always it's been a pleasure to talk to BFSC students. As you know, just now he said, Dr. Parajit Singh said, anything? Okay. Yeah. So as he said just now, that I graduated somewhere in '88. So '88, many of these students might not have born between. So that time, you know, fisheries education was not that widespread. But in spite of that, just the course life took me to where I am. So first of all, I always like students to be looking forward to do great in life. And with that, I just always my thought and spirit are with them so that they do well. And fisheries offers very good scope to do great. But for today's talk, I'll just limit myself to what are the business opportunities that we have in fisheries, and maybe last 5-10 minutes we can share a little bit of experience. I can just say that where the fisheries can lead you to. Okay, so this is just the background, and at the outset I would thank Dr. Inderjit Singh, Dr. Guman, under whose guidance I think these IDP programs are held. Nayak is running in that university. I also thank Dr. Jitendra Shukla and Parabjit for organizing this and roping me into this program. So with that words, I think I'll start sharing my screen. So we have roughly 50 students who have logged in, and just as I understand, they belong to second year, third year, and fourth year. So I will try my best to shift within that frame so that they understand it better and they feel spirited that they can do great businesses in future, and the scopes are enormous. So I'll go to and just a minute, screen share. Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And it is just not incubation. I would say that opportunities, because incubation is a process once somebody wants to have an idea or technology or a process which they put it into a tunnel and to make a success. So incubation would be little later, but just opportunities we would speak today. So my talk would go this way. We will learn few definitions, not a great definition, these very ordinary definitions, which usually when someone comes to us as layman, they ask about, I want to do business. Then they would say that I need to have technology. So, and I want to incubate. So you have to make a clear distinction between the two. And that is why the definition I have. Then once you are in the field of doing some business, you need to understand that there is competition, uh, there is similar processes or similar businesses. You also would understand that you have to protect your business. Somewhere you say that you cannot copy anybody's business. Something is patented, you cannot use. So these are all the complexities would come up once you start growing up in business. And that is where you need to understand a little bit of technology and IP. I was teaching IP for a few years, so intellectual property. So I would prefer just to define few of those for all of you, so that you, when you think about doing something, you don't uh, uh, land up in a mess, and you safeguard yourself against, or you protect yourself um, against any intruder. Then I would also speak a little about IP laws and what kind of protection it gives, some definitions. Then I will speak in different fields of fisheries. Those are all not like individual cases, but the areas which gives you kind of opportunities. Then areas of innovation, that's also the recently few things have come up, and in COVID situation, you all are facing problem. Now we are doing online webinar. Probably I would have visited your institute and talked to you personally, but we are doing webinar. So this is also an innovation, and now many businesses have just shifted towards remote access and remotely doing remote management, things like that. So then, little bit being selfish, I will talk about CIFI's IP mini management, how we are doing at the Central Institute of Fisheries Education, and that I would say, and how you can also make use of that facilities that we have. So this is briefly what I am going to talk today. So first of all, what can we trade? As you know, we can trade products, services, knowledge, and right. Products, of course, you know already products. So many products are available that is in the market. Services, doctors are giving services, even Uber is giving services. You have many such things like your home delivery. Everything is part of services. Knowledge also we can trade. Knowledge we can trade easily because data you can sell. So if you have knowledge, say some prescription you are giving, something you are giving, that is also kind of, you are making a project report, that is also a kind of knowledge that you can sell. Of course, rights, when I talk about patent, so patents are kind of rights which you can sell, just like any other rights, you can sell the rights and trade the rights. So just I said that we would be talking a little bit about water business. So can I, yeah. So business is the activities through which someone is making a living. So someone is making living or making money by producing, buying or selling products. So it could be goods, it could be services. So any enterprise or activity that enter into that for a profit, so would be called as a business. So, very profound statement here, someone is making living. So that brings in farming as also a kind of business. Suppose if you ask me, am I in teaching business? I would say no, because it's my profession. But if a tutorial class I'm running, I'm taking money, I'm trading my teaching against that, probably it's a business. Similarly, you have many such businesses which continues. But from our perspective, suppose we have fisheries, so you have aquaculture activities and everything that would be part of the business, because you are ultimately produce something, you are making your living, and you are also getting money. Suppose say something is somebody is doing only for his survival, also would be part of his business. Similarly, if you go a little bit away from that, technology is just application of knowledge for practical purposes, scientific knowledge for practical purposes. So scientific knowledges, you don't have a definition exactly what is scientific knowledge. Your traditional knowledges could be scientific also. So traditionally it is practiced, but it is having a base in science. So that could also be a part of technology. So technology should not ever scare you, but even though we have come up so far that now we are doing drone based management, so precision farming, we try to find out how much of mangrove area is present, whether there is a deterioration in mangrove, whether there is any disease in a big farm. So all those things can be also based on technology. But that technology is also kind of advancement of technology, but basic technologies that we use just for giving water. You have a pump, you have a small irrigation facilities, you have even every single lot of things would be part of technology, which can be modified, improved, customized, and could be used in localized condition. All technologies do not fit in all cases, so you have to understand which technology will fit my situation and how we can make best use of it, and how we can make more profit by using such and such technology. So incubation is just incubating any idea, technology or services, which we should be saying that it should be self-sustaining, just like any incubation system. Say eggs, when you hatch, you also call it as incubation. Similarly, child is born, is kept inside incubator till he is normal, he or she is normal. So this is also kind of incubation. So business incubation is a kind of process in which you put it into a tunnel, any idea or technology, services, you put in a tunnel till it stabilizes or runs or becomes self-sustaining. So this is what is clearly. So anywhere you approach for business incubation, you should understand that you are not only talking about technology, it can be for farming. And farming could be so many things. Farming is a big process. It involves feed, seed, hatchery. I'll come to that in later slides. So then I will go to a little bit on intellectual property. Once you are actually in business, you remember this, that you come across so many brand names, you trademarks, then registration, then you have a patent sign. So why it is very important to have intellectual property? What is intellectual? Intellectual is coming out of your intellect, your imagination, your capability to think, analyze, and you get something out of that. So that is your property. So because it has originated from you, you want to safeguard. Your idea should not be stolen. So IPR, basically when we say, so we need to understand why we want to protect, what we want to protect, against whom, or from what, from who should patent, then where it has to be done, and how it has to be done. So I will not go to into details. So why do we need protection? We need protection because it gives immunity against others from copying. Nobody should copy your idea. So if you have registered it, so nobody should copy your idea. So similarly, it provides incentive and encouragement. Suppose you have a patent, then it gives you encouragement. Okay, this is my idea, it is protected. I have, just like how many papers you have published or how much money you have stored. So you feel very elated. Okay, I have some resources, I have a house. So like that, it is an encouragement to have intellectual property, so that you feel that richer every day, every time you mm, every time you patent something or you register an IP. So you can also have reasonable returns on investment. So if you can sell your patent, if you can monetize your patent, you definitely can have a lot of money. So as you may know, it's a simple that Gillette razor. So if you see the razor which is having 5 blades, and the shape, the size, the tilt, everything is patented. That is why you buy that for 300-400 rupees. A single blade costs you something like 200 odd rupees. So it's because of so many of patents, so many companies which have given their idea, which patents have been used, they have been paid money against every single blade that we purchase. So this is how it works. So then you can transfer the technology. Suppose something you have, nobody can copy and people find it very useful, you can transfer that to someone. You can recognize the moral right of the inventor. So basically, by protection, so it is like a property. Everybody understands that they should not intrude, and it is moral right of that person, whether he gives to somebody, he sells it, he doesn't sell it, belongs to him. So it intends to disclose secret. So patents are not something that is completely protected. For doing patent also, you have to reveal that. So you say that this is my design, this machine works this way, and because of this, I get this benefit. This disclosure you must make so that others cannot copy. So that is why patent writing and patent making is a big art, and lots of people. There are lawyers involved. There are patent technicians involved. Patent writing is a skill. There is a scientific person or engineer who actually brings up. He is also involved. So it's a combination of efforts of many types of people, which brings in good patent. So what are IPR components? So patent is just one type of IPR, intellectual property right. So there are copyrights, trademarks, trademarks are also there. There is something called as geographical indicators. The geographical indicator are indications. So you have industrial designs, which is also IP registered. Similarly, integrated circuits. Then you have trade secrets also. Uh, you can register and you can keep it secret for you. So how this domain actually works for us. So in India, if you think, you see you have Office of Controller General Patents. This is located in Nagpur. Sorry. They have an institute which is located in Nagpur. You have patent offices, all those places, Delhi, Calcutta, all metro cities. you have design patent, you have trademark centers. Mumbai is the head office for this, Calcutta is head office for patent. So you have GI indicator head office is Chennai, and copyright, this is actually with the HRD ministry. So it is in Delhi with the Department of Higher Education. So let's understand, you can see Controller General of Patent, and trademark. This is why this is this distinction. This is actually in India, the left side panel. So if you look at patents, trademarks, geographical, this is all related to industry. So there could be money involved. So a lot of court cases, and because of which it's been kept with under the commerce ministry, and there are a lot of legal issues and legal complications, money involved. So these are all kept under one category. Other category, not much legal cases. There are copyright violations are also there, but those are all mostly, literary, drama, musical. So there also money is involved. So there was a move to move it from higher education to under this one. But then, as of now, as I understand, this is part of the higher education. So first we'll go to trademark. Is capable of distinguishing the goods and services from one undertaking to undertaking. So Adidas, all those things, they have a trademark. So it should be able to distinguish. Nobody should be able to copy that trademark from one to another. Means if you copy, then you have to pay. Suppose say somebody makes similar shoes and marks just like Adidas and starts selling in India. So he would make a lot of money by duplicating that. But is he allowed? The moment Adidas finds out, they will file a case and they will charge him a lot of money, whatever profit he has done. So he has to give back to Adidas because it is selling in its name. And people trust the symbol or trademark just because it is having a kind. There are cases like that in US. One company did for a very long time, and they had to pay heavy fine, and they were just making similar types of logo, and they were selling another product. Industrial design. So this is on under article of 25(1) TRIPS. So you have protection of independently created industrial design that are original. So industrial design are typical. Suppose, say, for example, a machine. Just because you have arranged it in that kind of design, it is functioning well. Even if there is no functionality, even if it is ornamental and aesthetic aspect, so the look, feel, and the shape and size, everything of an article can be part of the design, and design also can be protected by the law. So similarly, you have also another important aspect, which is geographical indicators. Geographical indicator specially means that the product of that particular place is having a value. So even now you go to Europe, you find on the shelf a lot of Darjeeling tea, Assam tea. So Darjeeling tea is considered to be very good, and so it sells by name. Champagne is nothing but you have a kind of it is a sparkling wine. So all sparkling wines are not called champagne. Champagne is only if it is from one breed of grapes and processed from one particular locations are only called as champagne. Rest all are to be called as sparkling wine. There may be better sparkling wine, but champagne has already created a market for itself, and that is why it is having a different name and it sells with more money. So that trade that is called a geographical indicator. Similarly, Rasgulla, there was a fight between West Bengal and Odisha on the name Rasgulla. So whether it will be called as Kolkata Rasgulla or it is Odisha Rasgulla. So the case was going on almost for 3-4 years. I think Bengal won, but then they have to use the name Kolkata Rasgulla. Then Odisha also filed, and Odisha also got a Odisha Rasgulla. So Rasgulla is basically, in their Odisha had the claim because during in the old manuscript there was a description of Rasgulla being served to Lord Jagannath in Puri. So that is why they say that it is older than the Calcutta Rasgulla. The cooks of Odisha have gone, because that was under one province. They had worked there and they had taken this Rasgulla to West Bengal. Of course, in Calcutta it became popular because biggies were living and it was a hub of trade. So that is how Rasgulla became famous. So the fight anyhow settled by making two different geographical indicators. So similarly, your Banaras sari, you can know Kanchivaram sari, all those are actually indicators. So they have specific designs. Nobody should copy. Even if they copy, they cannot sell it as Banarasi sari. They have to sell it in different name altogether. So to be able to patent something, so you need to have a novel step. So it has to be, novelty has to be proven. So it should not be published or used anywhere. There have to be inventive stuff, something which is not obvious. So if it is known, then probably it will not be accepted for patent. So suppose, say for example, it should not be obvious to a person who is skilled in that art. Suppose a fisheries inventive step, somebody who is a non-fisheries person, he sees, he would say, oh, I never knew that fish can be given injection and they lay egg. So, but then if it is told to you, then you said, oh, this is already known. Pituitary injection have been there since 1950s. Then after that, commercial injections of Ovatide and Ovaprim is there of late. And, nobody would agree. So it is not becoming an inventive step if it is obvious. Commercial application, so it should have also commercial utility. So people should feel that it can be marketed. So then only patent is over. You can patent something which is non-commercial, but then you have to pay money for keeping the patent, and nobody wants to waste money for something which is not commercially useful. Then copyright, it's a statutory privilege given to the creator of the artistic and literary work that are fixed in a tangible medium of expression. So earlier tangible medium means it was recorded or printed, something like that. But nowadays, electronic media is also considered as tangible media. So it is stored in that, so it can be protected. What comes under copyrights? A novel. So you cannot simply copy a novel, similar idea, similar detective story, and produce another book by changing the names. So that is a like act of violation. So similarly, songs, music, painting, sculpture, films, maps, different programs and databases. Copyright board, it is chairman, all members of all judges. I'm sorry. Yeah, all judges, and this is part of the HRD ministry, as I said. So salient features of the patent law, both product and process can be patented. So term of reference is 20 years. Once you patent, it holds for 20 years. So one can examine on request. So examination can be done on pre-grant and post-grant opposition. Grant, it takes about 18 months for publication of this one. First, you have to take something called as mm, you have to disclose. So that is considered as your date of invention. Then you have 18 months to submit all documents to protect it. And after 18 months, it's going to be examined. First examination report would come. So anybody can oppose that. Then you have to answer that within 6 months. And by second year, I think it is approved. So it is, once it is approved, every year you have to pay some money to keep it maintained. So the sustainability um, uh, gradually, because as it stays longer the time, new innovation always come in. So sustainability reduced in timelines. Okay. Safeguards in patent laws. So certain things, because everybody, if they patent everything, so that means we will not get any medicine. They say that it is my innovation, I will not give for this thing. So government has the right to overtake anything which is need for public health emergency or public interest for security consideration. Also, they can take over and they can copy and reuse anything that is part of the, just like your lands, if government needs for the national emergency or public interest, they can take the land. All land belongs to the government, and we have been given the right to use that as long as there is no need for the nation. So little bit you see, invention means inventive step has to be there and should have capability of industrial application. You can publish it in India, you can publish it in other places also. So you get roughly 18 months before you file it in other countries. So that much of time you have to make it international. You can make it in few different countries. Suppose your business interest is only in India and Sri Lanka, so you don't care for filing an international patent. You can file a patent in India as well as in Sri Lanka. So you don't need to try to do it elsewhere. So, inventive step. So inventive step means technical advance. It should involve technical advance as compared to the existing knowledge. That is one. Should have economic significance, and the invention should not be obvious, which I have just said. So industrial application means capable of um, capable of being made or used for any kind of industry. So let's look at, with this background, that was just background I was saying, what business opportunities we have for us. Say we are all part of fisheries fraternity. So there are a lot of changes that is happening in the fisheries sector. You have a specific ministry that has come up, though they have kept still with animal sciences, but fisheries have got some kind of recognition. So if you ask me why have we got this recognition, it's not because that suddenly people understood the importance of it, because actually fisheries is giving business. Fisheries is giving business. So country understood the importance of it. So if it was that small and maintained that small, probably nobody would have cared for fishery. For 70 long years, we were like kind of a smaller brother to agriculture and other this thing. And the growth rate of fisheries is much higher compared to other sectors in agriculture. So that is why suddenly people woke up to this one. There are other considerations also. If you imagine the countries like Norway, countries like Japan or China, much of a bigger portion of their economy, Peru, economy, even Bangladesh, much bigger proportion of their economy is dependent on fisheries, fish culture, fish trade, and export, import, the people, livelihood of people being part of. But those countries are island nations, small nations, and they have that compulsion. We traditionally, we were not seagoers. We never migrated too far. Other people, they came into India, but we never sailed out too much, very far. We only traded with our neighboring countries, somewhere in Zanzibar, in African coast, little bit into Indonesia, Malaysia, not Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, these areas, Sri Lanka. Those are our like a length or breadth of our kind of maritime history. So what has happened now? Now contribution wise, fisheries is increasing, and that we should consider as a big opportunity for us. But say, for example, your export. As of now, your export, say, for example, 10% of your total you are exporting. Total production you are exporting. But 10% is also giving you something like $7 billion in trade, 45,000 crore. So that's a big money. So that is visible. Say, for example, if the dollars come in, you have that money to buy essential engineering goods or medicine or something from other countries, including ammunition. Now, security is a very important thing. Then second consideration for India was that, see, we have a big sea, we have a big navy. Navy is always protecting the sea. But why should we protect something that you don't use? If you remember, there was, I do not know which year was that. So, who, A.K. Antony, I think he gave a speech in 2013 saying that he was surprised how India took a stand that they don't need to protect the China border because nothing grows there. It is only barren land. Sometimes without no development is a way also to safeguard the territory. So this was a kind of statement or thinking that time. But now it is not like that. So now we want to protect every bit of our land. So sea is something like that. So you don't safeguard just the sea without any purpose. So you need to have economic activity. You need to have your capture there, mineral mining there. Then you should have trade control on that area. Any other ship passing by that, you may charge money for that, and giving security to those ships. And because of that, also you earn something. And that is what is the consideration of in India. So China has occupied some one island down south. So that is also a big threat. So this is the kind of consideration. So sea has become very important. Water has become very important. If you ask me why water has become very important, see, you have roughly 0.01%. 0.01, I'm sorry, 0.001% of the total water is actually fresh water. 0.001, I'm sorry, 3% is fresh water. I'm sorry, 3% is fresh water. Out of that, 0.001% is only available for drinking, fish, and all other activities. So most of the fresh water is kept in the ice caps, say Himalayan ice caps, or like that ice caps in the different polar regions. So glaciers and other stuffs. So the fresh water which is actually flowing underground, everything put together, it is only 0.001%. So this is very tiny amount of fresh water. So one must get into the sea to have a lot of activities, culture and other things. And that is why this thinking. And the more you get into the sea, your territory actually expands beyond that. So you have a security concern, you have business concern, then you have a water concern. All the three push the government to think about fisheries. So in global trade, if you say there are 50 types of fishes which is traded, so nearly 14 lakh tons in 1919, 13.9 to be precise, and export earning and 46,000 crore accounts for about 20% of agriculture export. 20% growth rates have been given by fisheries, 20-fold increase from 1950 till now. So this is what is also a compelling reason why fisheries got so much of importance. So species available also, if you see, is a lot of species out of a big world, marine and this thing. We have registered this many species, 2,500 species. But if you ask me how many are commercially cultured, you yourself know by now. So there will be 10, 15 at the most commercially cultured species. I'm sorry. So let's look at the business opportunities. So can you clear this? Okay. Okay, maybe. Business opportunities. So now you say aquaculture if you have to do. So if you start a new species, able to culture a new species, so you are richer by this thing, because nobody will have that know-how. So you can earn money by training people or doing that particular species in large quantity, and you can earn money. So this is what is a business opportunity, definitely. So if fisheries graduates and people who are trained in fisheries, people who are passionate on fisheries, if they don't do, who will do? And most importantly, we all know what to feed, how much of protein to feed, how to make a feed, and how to give that, what kind of water they would need. So that is a big opportunity for you. There could be technology innovation to control seepage. People can work and they say that, okay, if you mix this on the bed, then there is no seepage. Because aquaculture in many regions where the seepage is very high, probably you cannot hold water. Your water filling or use of machine to fill water will take away a lot of money. So this not be possible. So seepage control is very, very important activity. So if you can come up with some new innovation on that line, so there will be many buyers. Seepage is not only restricted to aquaculture, seepage could be restricted to many other things, say if it is for irrigation and for the all other purpose. So it can have application in many ways. Water treatment, you know, ammonia could be very bad. If you have a treatment method by which you can quickly remove or bind ammonia or quickly bind other particles in that which are hazardous, probably you are coming up with the technology. So intensification and waste recycling, you have heard about, I do not know, second year, third year, they might not have still talked about them, that Biofloc technology. Biofloc technology and recirculatory aquaculture systems, these are all recent trends where people are thronging and they're trying to understand all those technology. Basically, these technologies are very simple. Say, for example, Biofloc, you are feeding with a lot of nitrogenous feed. So the animal utilizes the feed, and the excreta contains a lot of residual nitrogen. The residual nitrogen, once it comes to the water, you know, it could be polluting the water, and animal could be stressed because of high ammonia content. So unlike a human or animal where we can run away from the area which is polluted, fishes cannot run away. So they are in that environment. So there is likelihood that they get intoxicated and they become dead. So that is why Biofloc technology, what it does, it utilizes kind of different kinds of heterotrophic microbes and a lot of carbon sources to convert this nitrogen again to bacterial biomass. This bacterial biomass will come out as a floc. So it's a biofloc. The floc has to be harvested because you know you need what is that called, single cell protein from the bacteria, and which is trapped in kind of filamentous stuff, which can be directly used as feed, and it is also kind of good for the health of the fish, that the flock is used, and because of which, you know, you can cultivate in a small area lot of fishes, and that is the technology. But then for that you need to understand how much of protein, means how much of carbon you need to supplement if your nitrogen load is this, and you need to know what kind of microbes to grow in that. So all these things make it very complex. So you have to really work and understand the technology well to apply that, and that is a little bit higher degree of understanding. Maybe once you come to the master degree, you will study it well. Then utilization of land that are not otherwise not utilizable. Say, for example, you have in Punjab, Haryana, a lot of saline soil. Okay, so inland saline soil. So the water itself is having salinity from ranging from 7 ppt to 15, 7, 16, 20 ppt it can reach. So how do you use such land? You cannot grow it for anything. So we have a center at Rohtak, Haryana, where they have learned the technique of supplementing some of the salt and making it usable just like seawater. So we are able to cultivate the vename in that water, and we are getting very good result. So I will show that as a part of technology. So similarly, on-field maturation. There are many fishes which will not maturate in that. Suppose you have a technology to maturate, make it matured in that water itself. So you can still make a good money out of that technology. Similarly, monoculture, sex reversal, we know, but can we have another method of converting the sex of the fishes? Some of the fishes, if they are not monocultures, if they are kept both male and female together, they breed so fast that there will be smaller fishes mass increases much faster than the large fishes. So you don't get any table size fish, and that is why monoculture is very, very important for tilapia kind of species, and it's been practiced. Just similarly, sustainable food chain development. It's not necessary that you always apply technology from outside to make a fish culture. Suppose, say, for example, you make a phytoplankton, zooplankton, everything inside your pond. Probably you are developing a food chain which is organic also, and which is also, that was the old practice of aquaculture, where they used to dump a lot of cow dung into the water. Then from there, zooplankton, phytoplankton, zooplankton generates, and fish starts growing from the small size. So they can eat on those planktons and develop into adults. So that was a process. But then now this has to be, you can artificially do that in a very good way. And it is possible to develop a system within the pond to have the aquaculture, making aquaculture green, remunerative, and without much outside input. The control of weeds, birds, and animals. Say, for example, we have in Rohtak farm, if you see, there are a lot of birds infestation. So they just fly in and take away all our shrimps. There are ponds after ponds that are devastated. And we cannot protect that. If you put nets and threads or things like that, cruelty against animals and birds, those you are guided by that law, by which if any single bird is actually injured, then you are punishable. So this is where, it's very difficult to get rid of birds from that. Similarly, animals, if aquaculture ponds in West Bengal, you see there is, otters. Otters come and take away, eat away your fish. So you cannot just catch them so easily. So they protecting against them is also a big act. Say, for example, for dog menace. So you are all from that area. Chandigarh is a city where many places they have put, I don't know, a kind of ultrasounds emitter, the sound emitters. So what happens? It kind of some kind of ultrasound it emits continuously, which we cannot hear. But that is very painful and irritating for dogs. So dogs do not come to that area which they have protected against this thing. There are many cities which have employed. We also had for some time, we had implemented it here also in the campus. But afterwards, they became non-functional and we did not replace and things like that. So if you can scare dogs by understanding what kind of sound waves actually scare them, you can definitely scare birds. Or you can develop some other mechanism of noise making the moment the birds come and get rid of them. Then you can also have a harvesting method without any loss or stress. So these are all the areas in which there could be many more, immense. So for example, there are motors and these things which are also aerators. Many of the aerators used to be imported from other countries. So you can design an aerator. It's not a very big deal. It has to be only energy efficient. The angle should be proper so that the aeration happens. It all needs small studies to make it. You can run it on solar panel to make it economical. So there could be many innovation which you can do to earn money. So simply just to say that now there is a ban on Chinese goods and many things we are not getting, and they have innovated the same way. See, for example, everything is now available online. Nobody, you can make small trials. Suppose, say, for example, I will tell you, maybe one of my slides will show you that very simple innovation can make a lot of changes. Only thing that we have not put our if you ask me, people in India are much smarter, but they have to be oriented for technology development. So next is what happened. Okay. So this is what I just said. So disease control. So many diagnostic kits. So you compare a fish with human being. So if it is a human being, how much healthcare you are spending on, maybe how much money you spend on healthcare. So basically what you do, you have blood checkup, you know exactly what blood parameters you should have. Little bit increases, oh, I have got diabetes, oh, I have got blood pressure, oh, I have got this creatine level. Everything you know. Why not for fish? So how many diagnostic kit we have? It's because we want fish to die before we eat. So ultimate result is death of the fish. So we don't care much. But if you value fish as your domestic animal, then definitely you will care for disease. So if part of business, diagnostics are very important. And there are many simple methods of diagnostics. So students can work easily on symptoms, signs. If you keep 20 or 30 goldfish for 1 year, you will observe one or two of them will come out with some diseases. You observe the disease, what are the symptoms, signs. Any single aquarium fish you keep, you will find such this thing. So you make proper protocol, proper booklet, and then you come up with what kind of treatment it is required based on all available knowledge. So if you fix some protocol, if you fix something, knowledge level increases, and you can share that knowledge for your business purpose. Say, for example, just like a veterinarian is giving drugs for something, you can prescribe it for aquarium fishes. So even culturing aquarium fishes. So there are so many varieties which we don't culture. Many of those are repetitively cultured. We don't have those species which are all actually collected. Now there is a trend. Many of those species are being traded out of the country, and in other countries they are breeding and they're sending it back to our country. So this is very important for us to take the lead in culturing this. See, these are all you can start from your student's life. You can start culturing. I think many people are logging out because of network issues, and they're coming back. So then vaccine development. So why we don't have money vaccines, but now I think there is a lot of understanding about that. So we have a DNA vaccine which is undergoing large scale trial. It has not started gone for large scale trial, but we have a tie-up with a company which is developing, making a trial before we get approval. So regular vaccine as well as DNA-based vaccine, they are very important areas. So treatment protocols, even that could be a business proposition. So if you are adequately equipped with treatment, you can give your services to others. So these are also blood parameters. Suppose say you have some kit to know the blood parameter of the fish, to tell that this fish is sick or not sick, or is having diseases, just like you have ESR count in human. So eosinophil ESR count, I think erythrocyte sedimentation rate or something. So if you have an infection, that gives you a kind of indication. Similarly, can we have such studies to tell that okay, fish is sick or not? What is happening? Okay. Then in feed industry, feed formulas, see formulations are patented throughout the world. So we have come up with a medicated feed and customized feed also you can have. Customized feed means just like you have you have feed for smaller ones, say juveniles, then feed for adult, feed for brooders. So customized feed are basically based on the requirement of the animal. Suppose a brooder, what kind of nutrients it would need. So that needs a thorough background study. Now lots of literature is available. You can also understand what kind of feed formulation is what required for what kind of feed. This is such a vast field and such a big scope for innovation. So you must understand that anything you touch now would be a gold mine in 15, 20 years later. So you can have targeted feed. Targeted feed, it could be floating feed, sinking feed, different sizes because based on the mouth sizes. Now you have so many types of fishes. So each fish, you need to have one different kind of fish. So it a different kind of feed. So this is kind of lot big challenge for us to come up with so many things together. So automatic feeders. So feed costs so high. Now any feed you say, it would be 40 rupees a kilo. See, international companies are here in India, at least three big international companies, they have almost say 70, 60, 70, 80% of the market. So because of that, you know, we lose also money and we give business to others. But instead, now say for example, if you have a 1 hectare farm, say 1 hectare farm is not too big. So if you are buying, you are spending so much of money. Instead, if you are making a feed by your farm itself on the farm and you are feeding, then you are saving a lot of money from the ingredient. So you can also take in 2-3 farmers together. You can set up a small pelletizer. Then you can, ingredient and compositions are not greatly different in those highly traded feed compared to the normal feed that you only is a composition, how much protein you need to give, you have to get good quality material. This all possible locally. You can have locally sourced raw material for that purpose. So it's this very big proposition. If someone just would say that okay, I will set up in all farms, I will set up a feed mill. Okay, you produce the feed, okay, I will provide you ingredients. So you can give a service to those farmers who do not have access, who cannot spend so much of money on feed. So then development of low cost feed, local feed, probiotic, prebiotic, food attractants is an enormous field which is open for all of you to try it out into business. So then environment, water recycling, water filters, bioremediators, microbial bioremediators, algae bioremediators, biocides can be kit for water parameters. Then bioremediating plants, you can grow and sell bioremediating plant. Aerator and sorry, this is ozonizer. I was writing something, oxygen, something I wrote, ozonizer. So this could be, nowadays another technology has come where they are pumping the air and making it in such a small bubbles. It just mixes with water so well that oxygen transfer into the water, DO level increases very fast. And wherever you have anoxic condition, you can do that quite easily, and because of which you can suddenly say, for example, there is a kind of oxygen depletion. Suddenly you cannot change the oxygen level by aerator, but you can make oxygen change by such machine. This is called a kind of bubble maker or something it is called.
The nanobubble technology.
Nanobubble. Okay, that's been used. I think they tried in our center also. It works well. It's not a very this thing. It's only compressed air it pushes, and you can also do. Okay, so it's see, these are all innovations which we can bring into the field. So processing, deboning machine. Say you will be surprised in a country as big as India, we have not made a deboning machine. So now a company is making, but that's also a kind of replication of another one. So the first deboning machine I saw was in 1989, maybe in Mangalore, where they brought in one deboning machine from UK. It was a pad. It's a kind of rubber pad, and you have a perforated disc. So perforated disc is about 5 mm size pores are there. So the fish, after degutting and removal of all gills and this thing, it is just kept there. You go on putting this one, and this pad goes on hitting against the disc, and the soft muscle passes to the other side, and from the surface you take away the scales and scales as well as skin and bone, everything remains on the top. So this is one method. Then I came to Bombay. We have, I think, 80s. They had purchased one deboning machine from Badar. Deboning machine here, it was much simpler. You have two perforated disc, one perforated disc. It is rolling against a belt. So belt, and this one is very tightly fixed, and you can adjust the size of this one, how tightly you want to fix it against the belt. That is up to you. And all this cleaned fish is fed in between the what is that called, a wheel which is perforated, or drum which is perforated, and the belt. So the meat gets squeezed in between this one. So it comes out inside the drum, and you collect that on the other side. This is a simple technique, but we have not developed one. It's because we have not spent money and time on engineering aspect of that. We are still buying one batter machine would cost you something like 18, 19 lakhs to buy and import it from, I think that is a Danish company or something. Similarly, you have a pin bone remover. So many things are small innovations. Say descaling. If you go to the market to buy freshwater fish, they have, a what is that called? A wood plank with some keel. Keel means some pins. They just rub it against, just like scrubber kind of thing, and they remove the scale. So there are handheld machines already available. It needs a motor, it needs a scraper. So against the fish, if you just rub it this end to that end, your scales are off. So it is as simple, but we don't make that. We recently imported one from another country, and when we look at that, it could be much easily made in the country like this. So similarly, food waste, so processing waste, treatment involves so many processes, microbial processes, biochemical processes. You can make product out of them. Each one is one area in which people can get involved and can make up an industry and really do so well. Diagnostics. Diagnostic is, suppose, say, bacteria which is of human health hazard causing bacteria. You can easily make a kind of kit to find out whether salmonella is there, shigella is there. So based on which we can, of course, these are all human health important. So your kits are already available in the market. So you can, this is a gray area for our students to work on. Smart packs, CIFT came up with a smart packaging, just like you have, pizza delivery, they put you something on that. In Mumbai, they had started. So if this turns black or red, then it is not hot. Means it's being 30 minutes or beyond, older than 30 minutes or so. So similarly, they had developed a packaging. If the food is bad, then the color of that button or one area where they have put some indicator indicating paper, but paper sticker, which becomes red. If it becomes red, then the food has become stale. So that is a kind of very nice way to pack. It's kind of indicator packaging. Similarly, you can have smart packaging where the packaging material is coated with antioxidant substances which will take away, so that your food doesn't get oxidized. Even if you have some oil in the food, it doesn't get oxidized or rancid or something like that. So there are many ways of improvement of your packaging material. Okay. So then several products also you can make. So several products also you can make. So it is very, I should not say, because over almost all the fish that you see are not really gone into the products. Everything is sold, exported or marketed only by freezing and chilling, and marketing is also fresh. But other than that, a chunk is going for drying. Other than that, we don't have any other value addition. If you go to Japan, China, Malaysia, Thailand, you will get hundreds of fish products, which are products, which are all starch-based products where fish is included in that. And we have not really marketed those things. You will get at least 10 types of 10 types of sausages, fish sausages in a country like Japan. Japan marketing. Recently, I was seeing one of the programs, the fish catching methods in this thing. So, when everything is frozen in Hokkaido Island, almost near to Russia and all, they can't have access to fish. So they drill a hole, and through the hole, they put a kind of line. And there are experts which can feel the pull of the fish. Those fishes are not very big. It is maybe 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches fish. But to catch that, they have a competition. And someone has come up with a kind of robot which will sense the fish has eaten, then it will pull it up. So, the job of the owner is just to put a few baits on the hook and put it inside. And then, everything else is robot is doing. Okay, so I just said that I'm being a little selfish to describe about the incubation center that we have here. Selfish in the sense is a kind of promotion of our incubation center, and that also fits to the budget, fits to the theme of this talk. So that is why I thought I will show few of the things that we have done here. We have about 55, 56 technologies, but many of the technologies have gone slightly obsolete. Say, for example, we had D8, D84 and D86 hatchery. If any of you remember Dr. Dwivedi, SN Dwivedi, Satyendranath Dwivedi. So, he was our director for nearly 10 years. And during his time, we got the ship, and we got also this area land got from this thing. So a lot of developments happened during this time. So during his time, they developed some kind of hatcheries, which became very, very popular at that time. But that time, there was no concept of recognizing this as technology and propagating it as technology. It was just for farmers' welfare, we just propagated. Those have become slightly obsolete now. Now Chinese hatchery and all other types of eco hatchery. So many types of hatcheries have come up. So like that, we have say Pineus monodon breeding technology. Somebody worked and they developed all the standardized. Similarly, in saline soil, and there was a technology where we were doing Pineus monodon. Now Pineus monodon is almost vanished everywhere. So even if we try to get some seed, it is becoming difficult. But technology is available with us. Such technology have become obsolete. But nevertheless, that's the knowledge and know-how is with us, and we continue to say that we have that technology, even though it has gone out of the practice. But you never know, whenever time comes again, the Venamai and not Venamai, the monodon culture will come back, and we will showcase that technology also in inland saline water. So, CIF is having 11 disciplines in fisheries. I just showed you a few areas where you can start your business, entrepreneurship or business. So in short, we have a technology management unit, ITMU it is called. And we also have a agri-business incubation center, that is 2017 onwards. ITMU and ABI, agri-business, are two different. This is only technology management. ITMU looks after technology sale. If we have to sell a technology to a company, or we give a manufacturing license, those collaborations are done through ITMU. ITMU also does kind of MOU making, where we want to ensure in the MOU our rights are protected. Our rights are protected. So IP, in the sense intellectual property is shared if we are working together. Before entering into an MOU, they declare what kind of intellectual property they have, a company is having, or another university is having. We declare which kind of IP we have, which we will be involving into the single technology or single activity. So that we declare beforehand. Anything beyond that, a joint research, we'll have a shared ownership. That apart, Institute Technology Management also kind of showcases technology, tries to propagate, train people on this. We also encourage our scientists and students about how to search for patent, how to ensure that nobody has worked on that area, so that when they come up with a technology, it is not old, somebody has already not done. So that kind of job we are doing here at ITMU. Agribusiness Incubation Center, the government realized that just you have a technology is not enough. You need to really work on technology, prove that it is working well, so that the buyer of a technology, he has a confidence on your product. So in this incubation center, what we are doing, we are calling any entrepreneur is coming. So we are allowing them, we are registering them, we are allowing them to use our machines. Suppose say I have a autoclave, not autoclave, retort. So, and I have a full canning line. Suppose he wants to develop cans. So we provide them with the facility. So he pays very nominal. It is something like 20 rupees, 30 rupees for 1 hour use, which takes care of electricity and water. So they pay money and they use, so that they don't have to invest on anything at the initial stage. Once they get the product, they market it in a small scale, and they get confidence that, okay, this kind of machines, we know if we buy, we can set up this kind of facility. Similarly, extrusion machine. So many such facilities we just let out to the companies or incubators, the incubatees who work with us, so that they develop confidence in that. We have quite a few people who are doing well. Because of COVID, many people have stopped. But I am sure, because we were new and we started in 2017, by the time we actually made some incubatee ready, it was 2018 and 19. And by 19 end or 2020, everything is stopped. So a business, if it gets initial shock, it will be very difficult to come up. But I'm sure those are all people who are involved with, and we are supporting them also. So gradually, I think they will do well. So few of the just a minute. Your screen has paused. Why? Just a minute. Okay. So, this is what I was talking about. We have Venamine. So, in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, UP, and little bit in Delhi. So, around 8.62 million hectare of land is present. So, we have grown Venamine in that.
Sir, we can't see the slide.
Sorry?
We can't see the slide, sir.
You can't see?
No, sir.
Your screen is paused, it is writing.
We can see ICR, CIP and its center. That's the last slide we are seeing.
That you are seeing now.
ICR, CIP and its centers. That's it, sir. Maybe Dr. Shukla, you are able to see?
Okay. I'm
Same
sorry.
slide, sir.
Okay. So again, I think, can you see now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are seeing now.
Yeah, you can share now, sir.
You can share the screen now, sir.
Okay. Is it okay now? Now it is okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, this is where you
So
can
make the slide so
sorry?
make the slide so and it is old slide, sir.
Can I think I'll have to reshare.
Yeah, please, sir, stop sharing and again you can.
I'm sorry this happened.
No problem, sir. It happens. This is beyond our control.
What is that? Okay. I do not know. I don't see anything. I think it is a different slide altogether is coming down. If you are a fisheries graduate, loan is very easy if you are a fisheries graduate. And when you say 50% discount, it means only on machines. Suppose you want to start a business, you want to set up a feed mill. So feed mill, you get whatever money you pay for the feed mill. So 50% of that will come back as subsidy. That means to say, suppose say you are not successful in you're running the business or doing this thing. You can have a buyback condition, what's that called? Understanding with the company which has supplied you that, then you can pay it back in 50%. So your loan can be paid easily. So this is the kind of scheme that. But running cost you have to pay. Suppose you are putting your labor. See, no loan, nothing, no government scheme will ever give you running cost. Running cost means, suppose raw material you have wasted, that nobody gives. Labor you have used, nobody gives. Similarly, you have NABARD scheme only for rural areas, not for urban areas. So if you are doing something on rural area, cultivation based, you can make a proposal for NABARD and get. Ministry of Food Processing and Industry, they also give you 50% this. This is general for everybody. No specific grant for fisheries graduates, but you can definitely justify to get it better. That apart, you have state schemes. States also are coming now under PMMSY. They have a lot of money. They are giving for aquaculture of different species. The state has got priority, so they come up with that. So you can approach State Department. So what are their schemes, and based on that. So you can start from student's career also. If you have somebody to look after something, you can still run and get some loan for that and do this work. Then ultimately my final two slides. So you understand what is very important for us business. One is resources. As I said, 50%, up to 50% you get blanket from the government if you are a graduate NFDB, if you are a graduate of fisheries. So, or government 40% for ordinarily people. So you have to consider what resources you have, what kind of risk you can take, what kind of resources you have, how much money or time you can put. So that is very, very important for you. Then you have to understand the risk. Say, for example, if you don't take risk, you can't run any business or anything you can't do. Say, for example, I understand that it's a business of Ludhiana. You have so much of manufacturing there. Usually, people of Punjab, Haryana, the usual risk takers. So, देखा जाएगा क्या होगा. That's the kind of attitude, and definitely many of you who would like to venture into any business, you have the opportunity there. And not only money risk, there was when I initially started working with PFJF, someone said these companies are paying you very less. They pay you 15-20,000 if you work in a fish company. And if I am going to a, what is that called? Call center, I get 20,000, 25,000. So why do I go to a fisheries factory? But then ultimately you have to understand, if you are working in a call center for 20 years down the line, you will remain only in call center and you'll get only 25,000. But if you are going into a fisheries, now they will give you 15,000, maybe less, and they will make you do a lot of odd work. But after 20 years, you can imagine you can be a CEO of a company. It's all experience that sells. It's your field which you are going to sharpen every time, and you become better and better. So that is why always your profession, your professional knowledge, you should be able to sell it better, and you can make a lot of business out of that. Then you have to also understand long and short-term goals, because if you want short-term do something and jump into another business, you have to understand which business is giving you more money. So that you have to understand. If you want to stay on that, okay, I want to make big in this particular field. So then you have to really struggle to get that, and you have to plan accordingly. And legal guidelines, as I said, patent, apart from patent, you have labor, you have land, you have so many legal guidelines, you have trading guidelines, all those things you need to follow. Then one important concept that has come, circular economy, that I will just say before I close my talk. So, always it was earlier, you had a system that use and throw. You use something, your water you are discharging. Now you cannot discharge water so easily, so you have to really clarify that or treat that and push it. And days to come, it is going to be harder and harder. Days to come, it's going to be harder and harder. And this is where we need to think about a different strategy. If you remember, some of you must be from villages like I am from childhood, we have seen. So you once our bed sheets used to get old, you know, where bed sheets and saris, they are all stitched together to make a kind of mat. So saris and dresses are not used to be thrown. Maybe dresses are cut into pieces and put into that to make a kind of small gaddi. In villages, still this is in a practice. So somebody with a, stitching machine comes and he stitches all those you give together and he charges some money and go. So your cloth was not wasted. So that also, once it is thrown, it will be for cleaning the house. And then sometimes, Narendra Modi spoke about that the maximum use of things, nobody can teach Indians, because we were not a kind of consumer society always. So we used to reuse everything, every bit of thing we used to reuse, starting from the tube of the cycle to tire to everything had a utility. So So multiple use of same thing. So same thing has come back into a concept now, which is called a circular economy. So that means, suppose say you can see the left side panel, pre-use, you are using raw material, you are manufacturing, then you are assembling, then you are retailing, you are adding value, then utility. So the consumer is in the top, so utility. After the utility, it is just thrown into this. So, all the raw material, all the efforts, everything had gone down, just like that post-use. But now the circular economy says that you need to add value after first use. After first use, you add value, refurbish, and you start using. So this is what is the concept. So you have same, once you have reached on the top, say once it is used, you refurbish that to add value and reuse. Suppose something which cannot be used initial refurbish, then or reuse, that has to be higher level of reuse, higher level of refurbishment. So then if it is needed remanufacturing, it's finally it is recycled. So the moment, so you mean say, see the on the right side panel, circular economy, how many times product has been used before some discard has come. So that means to say the utility of the material is much more than that. But for that, you have to make an effort. So you have to make something which is robust, which can be reused. So that is why the planning has to be in such a way that you make a product in such a way it can be reused, till it is after multiple reuse. Once the value goes down, then only it has to be recycled. So this is what is the concept of circular economy. Circular economy can be applied to business, can be applied to, so many things, so many, any types of field it can be. So, but then we have to think how we have to use that for our purpose. So that's all from my side, and thank you. And I hope I just could tell you that there are a lot of, the summary of what I said is there are a lot of business opportunities. And you as professional graduates, you are the best suited to understand the need of the society or need of the fisheries sector and come up with innovation. And innovations are not very difficult. If you start with culturing this thing, if you just simply observe a fish a very long time and you understand the behavior, then you can design definitely something for the fish. Starting from breeding to seed production, everything can be monetized, including the data that you generate from your research. So now CMFRI is also selling their data. Earlier they were not selling. Now their statistical data, they are selling with a big amount. Recently we asked for something, they were charging us 50,000 rupees for a small piece of data, few years data on one particular fish. So why can't we think about monetizing our data, our resources, our publications? Everything is possible. So with that, thank you very much, students, for patiently listening to me. I do not know how effective I was, but then I am sure that you gained to learn a little bit about the business sense that fisheries can offer you, the opportunities that are changing, and especially when Atmanirbhar Bharat has become very dominant. Chinese have already stopped here supplying. So you can make small filters or feed and penetrate the market. So, but it depends on how well you are ready and how well you want to venture into doing something new. And my thanks to Dr. Jitendra and Dr. Parabjit and for approaching me. Of course, I was not that, what is that called? No, I had a lot of load, but then, okay. So I always love talking to students, and fishery students means I'm kind of always pro that they should be doing something better. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. I will
Thank
ensure.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
It was very nice motivational talk, sir, like students and easily they can make some important point to be remember when they are going to start new business especially. And you have highlighted some new innovations like what they can adopt it in their entrepreneurships, and the important new business they can use as some indicator in the, especially in the packaging. That was one of the beautiful ideas, sir. So like in fish also they can start some indicator and for delivery. And it was a very proudful moment when the CIF started this business incubation center, sir, and we are very grateful, sir, for accepting our invitation. And
Yeah, just to,
now the,
yeah, please, yeah.
yeah, sir, okay, yeah, please, sir.
I was saying that our incubation center is open to students. If they are coming up with some idea, they can always come here. We have a dormitory, of course, for them. They can use
Yeah.
their idea and work here under our guidance. And so, but they should come up with some sensible idea which they can really do it. We can provide them some facilities. It's a fisheries incubation center. It is not basically CIF incubation center. It's not for CIF student alone. Any
Okay,
student can approach us. Yeah.
okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Jitendra, thank you. Thank you, Dr. B.V. Nayak, sir. It was really an amazing lecture. Even I will say that I learned many things, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
First of all, students, when sir says that he is very a pro student, so I will stamp on that, because when I was a student, sir, that can't be discussed in this webinar, but sir is no doubt a pro student. And sir, you know, we students, you might be knowing about professional fisheries graduates form. Sir was president of that form, and sir is now in the executive committee also. So sir is always, whenever there is a cause for fisheries, sir is always there. And sir, it was an amazing lecture. How you nicely explained that how our innovations can be patented and how nobody can steal our innovations, starting from IPR, copyright, commercial applications, then patent laws, then how can you safeguard our patent, then most important, the business opportunities in fisheries, the new applications, then how everything can be sold, how important fisheries graduates are. Sir, it was a wonderful, it was a very amazing, knowledgeable, inspiring lecture. And I'll tell you that our students would have got greatly benefited. And because, sir, you know, Punjab is a, as you know, we were very high in agriculture. We have contributed to this green revolution, and we are moving towards blue revolution also. Sir, let me update you, as you told about Vanami, sir. We had introduced, when I joined in 2014, I was having industry bit experience, and we introduced Vanami in 2014, and we have almost, now it is commercialized, and almost this last year, sir, 350 acres was under shrimp farming. And we have a team. We are looking into shrimp farming in Punjab, and we have even a disease surveillance project with us. And no doubt we are in collaboration with on many things with Rohtak whenever we need. And but so our students are very well aware about Vanami farming, and you have added some value to that, sir. I would take this opportunity to propose a formal vote of thanks, sir. First of all, we are highly indebted to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Inderjeet Singh, who is a real guiding and motivating force, who is also a very student pro, and he has been always guiding that we should organize, we have to make the students who are job providers, not job seekers. So, sir, I am highly thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor for providing us this opportunity to organize this webinar. At the same time, I am highly thankful to Dr. Sarpreet Singh Gumman, who is the PI of Institutional Development Project, prestigious project, and also the Dean College of Veterinary Sciences, who is the main motivating force, who has provided us all the platform. Even one of our colleagues, Miss Amandeep Kaur, is associated with us in as from IDP cell GADVASU. At the same time, I am highly thankful to our Dean, Dr. Meera D. Ansal, the main guiding and main motivating force who wants our students to get maximum benefit during this COVID-19 pandemic, because our students are physically away from us. We are only virtually connected. So we want maximum knowledge should reach them, and they should not be deprived of any kind of knowledge during this COVID pandemic. And Dr. Miradi Ansal is a our dean is a guiding force behind this. We are also thankful to Dr. Vaneet Inder Kaur, the in charge of the IDP unit of College of Fisheries, who persuaded us to organize this webinar, and who asked us to select a theme which is which is going to benefit the student. I am highly thankful to my colleague Dr. Jitendra Kumar, who coordinated with Dr. B.V. Nayak sir, and who organized all the web links and everything so systematically that the webinar went very good. I am highly thankful to our senior research fellow Amandeep Kaur of IDP Cell, who has been coordinating with us for organizing this webinar. Last but not least, sir, we are highly grateful, Dr. B.B. Naik sir, for sparing your, I can understand your how busy you are, sparing your valuable time. As a head division, that too of a state-led university like CIC, I understand your engagement, but we are grateful, and we are ever grateful that you spared your time busy from your busy schedule in just educating, and I will say that our students might have got highly benefited from your enlightening talk. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. And last but not least, thankful to all the students who are the main. Without whom this webinar would not have been successful. Was a bit technical glitch which is beyond our control. That for that inconvenience is regretted. Thanks, one and all. Over
Okay,
to you,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Hope to see some students here
Sir,
maybe in a year two
yes,
or
yeah,
two.
some student they can ask their questions if you have any
Please,
doubt.
students, please.
Yeah, just before they ask, I should tell that their profession is very good. See, I just started my career from Odisha, that time not knowing anything, remote village that college was. Then, the profession gave me to visit to Mangalore for much of my study after BFSC. Then from there, I had an opportunity to study in University of Tokyo, the number one university in Tokyo. Then also I got a chance to go to Antarctica on cruise. Then scuba diving. No profession gives you such kind of exciting activities in the nature. So if you go down the sea, especially I'm telling my scuba diving experience. Now India also we have a certification system in Ratnagiri and Goa. There are institutes which are all giving scuba diving. Down you go in the sea, and it is much more beautiful world than what you are seeing on the earth. So it's like, large fish just swimming next to you, not
Mhm.
scared of you, looking at you eye to eye, huge fish, as big as I am. So,
Great.
sometimes initially you feel scared, but then it's not that they harm you. They are just living their life the way. Unless they have a predator coming behind them, they are not scared of you. Similarly, you have cliffs. You climb up the hill after certain height, and you are so scared you will fall down, slip, and this thing. If you are in a scuba gear and there is a kind of cliff, you are just sitting on the cliff. You are not falling down.
Yes.
And your hands are down and legs are up, and on the cliff you are standing. It's just such a wonderful experience. I think no other profession will give you this kind of exciting. Only thing you should venture out. And world is one, as I should say to students, and they have to find out right university, right places, right line of studies once they come out of the college. So just only thing that they should follow their passion and do whatever little they are doing for the sector. And outside the country, there is so much of opportunities on fisheries and marine sciences. So many times we get stuck to our hometown, stuck to our job, stuck to our this thing, little bit small world. But world is open for all of them. Only thing that they should try to find out where they actually enjoy most. Thank you. Please, you can ask some question was, if at all.
Any student can interact, please. That is good.
Student, they can unmute themselves and ask.
It's okay. If there is no question, see, technically also it's okay. Not a problem.
Yes, it is good. At least they understand. But if any student have any clarification regarding their career opportunities or education in
Yeah.
CIF, you can ask.
I think no
I
students.
think no
Yeah.
students.
Now
Some
they
student
don't.
they ask in the chat box.
Yeah. If they ask, then cannot
Like
ask.
Jai Bansal is asking, what are the government scheme for that, and any government is scheme providing for this business.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now that's very interesting for me to tell. See, suddenly you have a skill India, you know. So government wants everybody to be skilled. So earlier what happened, uh, all these, you know, small work people were doing, they were not having a certificate. Now suppose a gardener is having a certificate, everybody is having a certificate. So suppose I am a horticulture institute. So what I can do, I can call and train people on basic gardening activities, or say for not horticulture, say for floriculture institute. So gardening or flower culturing, this thing. So those people with certificate, you know, now if they approach any organization, they have a better chance to this one. Earlier, what happened? Many other countries they take separate plumbing. So Gulf, and as well as if you say Europe, many countries Indians are working there for plumbing work. But then these people do not have certificate. By experience, they have got plumbing job and they have become and they are migrated and they are living. But if you have a government owned certificate, you know, it is very easy for government to track them. Very easy for the government to track them and support them, and also kind of supply of skill level. Once you are certified as skilled, you know, your value increases. And during the training also you will learn a lot of basic things like how to safeguard yourself, the safety issues, and the activities in other countries, specific activities for a specific requirement. All these things are important. So this is one part. Now even skill, your master degree level would be something like skill level 8. Then PhD level will be skill level 10. Then you have just unskilled one from 0, 1, 2, 3, like that they have categories. So based on the skill level, they are going to fix the what is that called, salary and other things. So his question or her question was basically on what are the schemes government is having. Actually, government has come up with a lot of, say they understood that everything we are importing from other countries when we have got so much of talent. So to support that, say agribusiness incubation centers, we are giving kind of almost everything is free. Somebody registers with us with 5,000 rupees, but he gets access for 1 year. 1 year the guidance, you know, that is a big money that we are paying for supporting incubation or industry or somebody who is becoming entrepreneur. Similarly, next step of ours is just a new incubation center. We have kind of CIRCOT and CIFT, they have got kind of um, government support. They can sanction money from 5 lakh to 25 lakhs. Suppose somebody comes with a brilliant idea, it is a grant, it is not a loan. So up to 5 lakh they can give to that particular incubator who is having a brilliant idea to start business. So 5 lakh is not a small money to do a small business. So if your idea is good, government sanctions that free of interest, no, not loan, it is a support altogether. It's a kind of 5 lakh of rupees. And it can be increased to 25 lakhs in second phase. That means if you are successful in 5 lakhs, that means it will go into 25 lakhs phase. So like that, there are so many that is called as something incubation grant system or something like that. That apart, you know, there is a discount on GST waiver for this much level of people. Then that apart, not what is that called? They are giving Startup India. Then you have no next step also is there. There's so many schemes coming one after another. So initial money is free. If you are routed through any government institution, the government agency stands guarantor to you. So many people come to us. So I want to start a fish farm. Can you give me some money? So this is not something which money can be given. Money can be given only for very innovative idea, something new, and it will generate a kind of startup. So that is the type of thinking government is having. So a good idea can definitely give you money.
Okay,
So
sir.
these are,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So one more question is from Miss Gurleen Kaur. She is asking about the integration of aquaponics with fish culture. So just a few lines, can you just conclude?
Okay, the fish culture, say aquaponic is basically a fish culture. Only thing that the nutrient that you are otherwise going waste, you are recycling in such a way where the plants is taking the nitrogen and converting into protein. So this is what is basically happening. And it depends on what fish you want to grow and what. But for large scale commercial fish culture, aquaponic actually takes away some space for that. And it has got a different management system altogether. So you, if you are depending on commercial aquaculture, where you are aiming at 1 ton, 2 ton, it's very difficult to combine. But if you are doing some very costly or expensive fish in a small scale, definitely that much water can be recycled. See, if the volume of water is very important. If you have a large farm, the volume of water would be enormous. So channelize that much of water through aquaponic, you need so much of space. So this is what definitely not a very great idea, but then definitely aquaponic itself conceptually is a tie-up with the fisheries. So you are growing, it's a kind of integration, yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure talking to them.
Yeah, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And
Okay, thank
hope
you.
in future also we will be collaborating in such research and
Yeah,
teaching.
absolutely. Any student, has any requirement, they can write a mail to me through you or through any of you. Yeah, it's not a problem. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir.
Can I leave now? Yeah, or you're closing?
Yeah, sir. Please, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Shuklaji, we can now